what do these guys have to worry about, right? They're putting money down on this kid to win a race. What? Like, come on, it's fun. It's innocent. You know, it's not like this guy's gonna like turn evil and overthrow the republic and, you know, like be the enforcer of a genocidal imperial regime or anything. You know, he's a cute kid. Come on, he yells yippee.
Parvinator.
The Parvinator.
Without further ado, please allow me to take you back to the good old days. Guys, we're going to be talking about a game called Star Wars Episode 1 Racer. 25 years old tomorrow. Celebrating its birthday tomorrow. And we're here to go ahead and let it blow out some candles. Well, yeah, I think you guys will appreciate this. And I wonder how many of you have played this game. All right, so yeah, this came out for PC and for 64 on the same day, but I am much more familiar with the 64 version. I owned it as a kid, and yeah, that's kind of where most of my nostalgia lies. So I will tend to focus on that version in this review. And take a look at the back art here. Feel the force, 600 miles per hour, 4 feet off the ground. I love these old boxes, and I especially love the text, the blurbs that they put on them. Join Jedi to be Anakin Skywalker in the Star Wars race of your life.
He was special.
Relive all the thrill and excitement of the pod racer sequence from Star Wars Episode 1. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. And then you can see here, you got some numbers. 600 miles per hour, 21 plus opponents, 21 tracks on 8 unique worlds, so on and so forth. Hey, they even threw the Tusken Raiders a bone with that next to last bullet point there, right? Avoid hazards such as methane lakes, meteor showers, and Tusken Raiders. And who can forget those spectacular 3D environments? This game, they wanted to tell you that it had it all. And it is a really fun game. And as is often the case, the Japanese box art absolutely rocks. It slaps. It's great. Far superior to this. Where'd it go? This one here. Cool in its own right, but man. And I like the vertical orientation too. I think it makes for a really good box art. It's a little bit harder to go landscape sometimes, depending. I don't know. Then again, Super Famicom's got a lot of good box art. Man, maybe the Japanese just do it better. This game did... it did have an optional upgrades with the expansion pack, and I have to be honest, I was really trying to get a hold of like what the expansion pack actually does for this title. And if you guys have ever tried to figure that out for a game that you like or something you're wanting to learn about, it can be surprisingly difficult to find. You know, you find a lot of conflicting information, and then there's just a few things that get repeated, you know, that, you know, people are talking about like scores of games and then, you know, I'm just making this giant generalization in regards to what the expansion pack does for it. It was kind of hard to figure out. Now, one thing I do know is that it gives a 400 by 400 high res mode that is available to you. And I did read a lot of folks who said that with many games that allowed for expansion pack enhancements, that the high-res version really made the frame rate just take a nosedive. So if that's the case, that's too bad with this game. I assume I was probably playing it a lot with the expansion pack. Most likely, yeah. So, you know, I guess I never knew the difference. Although, I don't know if you had to go in and select a different... like resolution, you know, or if it automatically tried to do that. So I gotta get a card of this, man. I want to play this so bad again. Now, Star Wars Episode 1 Racer was one of 9 completely different tie-in games. If you're looking for a great video on this, Flandrew has one entitled The Phantom Menace had 9 completely different tie-in games. And it's a wild ride through these games. Also, just a lot of great material out there for Episode 1 and just how crazy just how energetic the release of that movie was, all the hype that came up to it, and the marketing blitz, an absolute bonanza of all kinds of weird things being sold, from Jar Jar Pez dispensers all the way to, I mean, God, you know, like all the action figures of the stuff you would expect, right? Taco Bell had its own toys. Like when episode 1 dropped, it was just such a huge marketing juggernaut. Insane. Oh yeah. And 9 tie-in games. Not all of these came out at or around launch. Some of them were a little bit later, but damn. Most came out close to launch time. Even with that being said. Now, if any of this sounds familiar, we were here just a little over a month ago talking about Star Wars Episode 1 Jedi Power Battles for the PlayStation and the Dreamcast, which was one of those 9 games. And yeah, I was wearing the same shirt. Good thing I swapped out the beanie. Took that off, or else, well, who knows? Maybe I should try to match myself sometime. Yeah, just in case any of this sounds familiar. We've been here recently. We haven't talked, though, about that much about this game. And, of course, this centers around a pivotal scene in Episode 1, the Boonta Eve Classic. This is a pod racing race. There's these things called pods. You'll see them in a second. They're going to go fast around a big track. You can see a few of them kind of on the right side of the... Yeah, anyway, you'll see plenty of pod racing in a second. But yeah, it's a crazy scene in the movie that you know, showing this event that I guess is put on annually, or like, you know, as part of some holiday celebration thing. And you know, there's not a whole lot to do on Anakin Skywalker's home planet of Tatooine. So these guys like to strap themselves in to things with large engines and go blow themselves up, right? Just go fling that thing down the course and slam into a rock. That is the pivotal, like that is like the peak of entertainment, it seems, on Tatooine. And honestly, you're telling me you wouldn't want to be in those stands to see that shit? I didn't want to get like a whole lot of, you know, video from the movie itself, but I grabbed a GIF or two. This is just part of the setup for that scene, but it's this huge thing. All the racers have their different flags. They all come out. It's a very fun scene. The whole reason why we're in this, why pod racing comes into play at all, is because Jedi Master Qui-Gon Jinn has, you know, bet the future of the galaxy on this young kid to be the first human to ever complete a race, or to actually, you know, be able to fly a pod racer. Not only that, but to win a race that he has never even finished before. So yeah, we're getting our gambling on, baby, and we're using the Force too to fix the die. Although apparently that was a trick die. So Qui-Gon Jinn was really just letting the Force, you know, do its, you know, not letting the trick die get in the way of a good Force, you know, good will of the living Force. I love this movie. Yeah. All right, now, what do these guys have to worry about, right? They're putting money down on this kid to win a race. What? Like, come on, it's fun. It's innocent. You know, it's not like this guy's gonna like turn evil and overthrow the Republic and, you know, like be the enforcer of a genocidal imperial regime or anything. You know, he's a cute kid. Come on, he yells yippee. We love Anakin.
How do you like me now?
Oh, yeah. Let's get our pod race on, right? Now, they got songs. Weird Al was part of the release of Episode 1 too, man. The whole movie gets the entire plot spoiled, and that, I'm pretty sure, came out before the movie was released, because I knew like every main story beat in the whole movie, thanks to Weird Al, and among other things, like the visual encyclopedia and all that stuff. Damn, dude. I had that one, like the visual encyclopedia for Episode 1. And you're like looking at a cross section of, you know, like a little starfighter. Okay, thanks, Weird. Thanks, Al. So, when they made this game, in order to have this thing ready around the time of the release, you know, they're not getting a full version of this race. And they're only getting screenshots and very short clips of the pod race segment. And they're having to build an entire game around this. It took them about 2 years to get this game done. And they started like a couple of the team leads from Shadows of the Empire. Guys might be familiar with that. Shadows of the Empire. Excuse me. Fun, difficult game for the 64. A couple of the team leads from that game, once that was wrapped up, they went over here to, you know, do episode 1 Racer. So, yeah. Pretty sick, man. They didn't have a whole lot to go on here. They really didn't have a whole lot of stuff to build this entire game off of. And if you know anything about Star Wars fans, we want our fan service, dude, and we want lore. And at this point, the lore was just, I said a supernova earlier. It was a supernova of Star Wars lore. And it was all so new. It was all, you know, it's blowing our minds, right? Okay? We're seeing new characters. They're name dropping these planets. They're just shrugging it off. Planets that later are going to get named. And we love this stuff, right? So we want backgrounds for every character. And this game, absolutely, to me, it plays that up perfectly. It gives us what we want. Take, for example, pod racer Ben Quadineros. Now, old Ben here, he gets named briefly in the movie. Okay? He gets a passing shot. At the beginning, they go and they introduce, all right, here we got Ben Quadineros, you know, and then they blah, blah, then they go to the next one, whatever. And maybe you get like a little thing to see a little bit of their personality as the camera pans or something. You get a couple seconds, you know, to show us what's up with them, right? So we had Ben here, pretty badass looking quad pod. Now, in the film, he gets his name called, and then the race starts, and then the dude can't even get the thing off the line, and he ends up crashing in hilarious fashion. So, poor Ben here didn't fare well in the film, but here he is on the player select for Star Wars Episode 1 Racer. Now, I will say he is the last character that you unlock, but he's in there. He's in the game, and we barely knew anything about this guy other than a name and then like a, you know, a little silly crash. And honestly, some of the other characters got even less than that. Here we are in his garage, taking a look at his pod racer. We'll talk about this screen a little bit later. I was always a fan. And then here he is in the game, you know. So this guy barely had any role in episode 1. He's on screen for just a little bit, and then bam, he's in this game. They made him the last unlockable character. Oh yeah, so funny. And then, like I said, some of these other racers, they got even less of a, you know, screen time or name or anything like that. So yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, and then they added a lot of new planets too. We'll see that in a bit. But yeah. Ben here is just one of 25 racers total. You can only get 6 at the outset. 17 are unlockable, and then 2 that require cheat codes, baby.
Give me a hell yeah!
Cheat codes. Man, love it. Yeah. Sai Yunga as well, and Jen Riso. Sai Yunga? Interesting. Replaces Bullseye Navar. Oh. Well, yeah, you don't have to go and just replace another character. Damn. Well, anyway. A lot of characters, right? A whole bunch of characters. I don't think all of those were even name dropped in the movie. Again, devs were given these short clips that showed a lot of speed, and that was what they really tried to focus on. The project lead, John Knowles, this is according to Wikipedia here, project lead John Knowles emphasized that the team's goal was for a strong sense of speed. He stated that they wanted to make it feel like an eyeball-peeling racing game. Eyeball-peeling racing game. Where you're going so fast, you're nervous. Yeah. going so fast you're nervous. I love that. I think this game kind of does it, man. Here we are, just a quick video. This person has to flip they started in first person and had to fix that, but it's fast. This is some 64 footage here. It's fast. And some reported a better frame rate on Dreamcast, and there are sections in this game where, you know, you might hit a boost, or there's a couple spots where you're in a vacuum and you can go even faster. But yeah, as you can see, you do take damage there on the sides. This video might stop pretty soon, but yeah, you manage your damage. You can do little repairs, although I believe it slows you down to repair. You can like hold, I think, the R or L buttons to repair your right or left engine. Yeah, but it's fast, man. It has a fast feel to it, and I absolutely remember having that feeling playing this game as a kid. That you know, it takes some pretty quick reactions, you know. Jedi reactions, in fact. Now, I think to me, if Star Wars is not your thing, I get it, I understand. I'm sorry, you know, I'm sorry. Not everything's for everybody, I guess. And I will say, though, it is impossible for me to separate the nostalgia. And as a person who was first coming into my own as a Star Wars fan at this time, it is impossible. I can't separate that, and I can't be objective about this. No way. There's no way. But with that being said, I want to think that this game may scratch something similar of an itch for someone who liked the gameplay of F-Zero X. That's a pretty fast game. You know, solid frame rate on that one too. Like maybe even better than this game. But F-Zero X, you know, again, just feels very fast. Just a similar feeling to it of a futuristic racer. And yeah, I don't think that you have to love Star Wars to get into this game. Just because there's a lot of customization of these upgrades. There's a cool gameplay loop to this game as well. But yeah, I like to think that someone who likes another racer, such as F-Zero X, could get into this one too, you know. All right, 3 single-player modes. Well, yeah, 3 single-player modes are available: Tournament, Free Play, and Time Attack. We're going to spend most of our time talking Tournament here in a bit. Free Play is where you just I'm trying to remember. Yeah, Free Play. Yeah, that one is where you kind of simulate a tournament, a tournament race. You just go in and you can select the difficulty level of your opponents, and you can select one of the courses, and you're racing with others, you know, and you know, with CPU. And then Time Attack is, yeah, just one player out on a course, you know, by themselves. No enemies on the course. You're just out there by your lonesome, you know. So there was a 2-player split screen mode for Dreamcast and for 64. And if you had the PC version of this game, you could do a LAN party. Hell yeah. You just do a LAN party.
Okie dokie.
And yeah, you and 7 more players, for up to 8 total, could play together. Chain those computers together, baby. Get yourself a little local area network. Now, in the game, there are 3 full tournaments, and then 1 kind of invitational that's a post-credits, a few races at the end that are some of the hardest. Yeah, you the part of the gameplay loop here is that you unlock more races and levels by beating them. So as you continue to win races, you're getting prize money. You're also unlocking new characters. You get prize money if you finish first, second, or third, although I think there are some races that say, like, winner takes all. There are championship races, too, that are kind of fun. There's a little bit of extra fanfare at the end that I didn't get a video of, with, like, it's showing some droids, like, bringing your pod racer back into the back into the garage and stuff, and a little ceremony, too. That prize money that you get for winning races can be used to purchase a bunch of upgrades. You can buy repair droids too, those cute little like one-eyed droids that They're like the pit droids that will work on your ride. But yeah, so the prize money can be used towards getting that stuff, and there's a lot of parts. It's a really extensive list of parts, and I apologize if you have issues with things not being formatted correctly, because I had a field day with throwing these pictures up here together. But yeah, here's just a few kind of examples, and I enjoyed, like, as you go through and you do upgrades, you'll often see the part, and they start to look pretty gnarly. Like, look at the bottom center, or, bottom middle. It says Tri-Jet Air Brake. And then to the right, you've got the Quadrajet Air Brake. You see, like, them adding an additional cylinder to something. That kind of stuff. Like, you watch the progress in the parts themselves. And honestly, it's pretty cool. And you get to see these things, floating in 3D. It's fun. Honestly, I can't help but feel that George Lucas would kind of dig some of this stuff had he, I don't know if he was ever much of a gamer, but, this is a gearhead himself, and, of course, did American Graffiti. And some of that, I feel like some of this is, the pod race scene in and of itself is kind of it's him playing to that, that side of his interests and what he's always done in movies and film. But yeah, look at the top right there, the big engine block there, the thrust coil, whatever. I don't know, dude. It looks sick, man. Hot rodding, baby. I always like the garage area, too, where you can rotate in 3D space. Granted, this was in 1999. I was just a young lad, but, dude, I loved it. You could zoom in and out on your pod racer, or on your pod, You could see these little pit droids getting some work done. You're hearing the sound of their little plasma cutters, as they work on these things. Maybe the hydro spanner. Is that what I'm going for?
He was special.
Yeah. Hey, cat. What's up? This cat is feeling lonely, I think. Yeah, it was fun. I really liked the garage setting, and it was cool to honestly just take in the atmosphere, zoom out, move around. You could see, they would let you go between some of the different parts on it too. Yeah, just vibe out in the garage. It was pretty cool. Neither of these screenshots sort of show you that you can kind of just get a bit, a better view of the whole hangar kind of thing, There's 25 tracks in total. And some of these tracks are pretty long and winding, dude. Like, there's some very long tracks, including some that get to 7, 8, 9, 10 minutes long. You're going to be spinning a while on some of these tracks. 10 might... I wonder the longest race, how long it is. But it gets up there. The Bunta, the one that's in the movie, the Bunta Classic Eve... or Bunta Classic, whatever. I'm gonna look it up right now. It was one of the longer ones. And you gotta, granted, like, once you get through the game, and I've heard it's a little bit easier to play these days. Maybe we were all making it a little bit hard yesterday, but, or, back in the day. But that was a very long course, and you had to mind your P's and Q's for a long time, and some short courses mixed in too, but 25 tracks in total, 25 racers that we mentioned, 8 planets too, and of course, Star Wars nerds, man, we're all over that, dude. And some of these planets had pretty much only just been name dropped in episode 1, or at the very least, a couple of the names were, of course, we knew Tatooine already, but look, come on, dude, again, just an explosion of lore. And you're taking us to these planets that might have only been in a novel before, or were this new creation. And kind of cool that these folks would build out a racetrack, have a song for it, really give it's such great world building in the prequels, honestly. And I feel like these games, it was such a fun aspect of that. It felt so vast and so new. Now, several of the actors from the movie did come back and do their voices for the game. So you've got Jake Lloyd, and you've got Louis McLeod. I'm sorry, I've never seen your name or heard your name pronounced. I'm sure that's not it, and I don't know Scottish names that well. But yeah, the actors for young Anakin and his pod racing rival Sebulba. Yeah, Jake Lloyd up on the top left, and then Louis M. bottom right there. They got to come back and do their roles as Anakin and Sebulba. And then these guys made a return as well. The two comedians who voiced the announcers, Scott Capurro and then Greg Proops. And you might know Greg Proops from a few things, but probably best known from Whose Line Is It Anyway? He's really funny, and I've always loved his voice. It's like, I don't know, man. That's rich. It's got a high and low thing going on at the same time. I dig it. Dig it. Welcome, Sid. What's up? Fireball said I was late getting back from the break, watching in double speed. Now I'm caught up. Nice. Hey, look, I like that. This game is fast, and I appreciate that you watched it back in double speed to catch up, man. All right? Yeah. Fireball said, I think it was well known even before the Weird Al song that this was going to be the main focus of the prequels movies. Oh, what, like a young Anakin? What I meant was more so that, like, his song gave many story beats, names of places, and, like, it actually, like, is a synopsis of the first movie that was extremely robust at that point and was, before the movie had even been released, and you're even hearing about one of the main characters dying and the way, like, who makes it happen and all that. It was crazy. Yeah, it was, I think there were lots of other ways to have it spoiled at that point, because they put books out in advance of the movie as well, and lots of ways to have the movie spoiled for you, but I didn't care about spoilers at that point. It was more about, like, I just wanted to be in and of that universe and learn as much as I could, or that galaxy. Missed opportunity. All right, guys, shall we watch a little a little bit of this? Just 1 second. Yeah, Fireball, it's interesting. You meant, like, before I do this, it is interesting to think about, like, what was known before episode 1 came out. And I remember, like, I had even read well before episode 1 came out that, Vader had hurt himself, something involving a fire. He had fallen into a lava pit, and, like, that was known and had been already, like, written about and, was out in the world, So, yeah, we even at that point sort of knew, like, what would be the thing that, like, physically wipes out the old Vader, is that, yeah, he would fall. And it was in my head, I imagined, I don't know, I don't think I had them in a volcano, but more like, yeah, walking around on some narrow walkways with, I don't know, I guess volcano makes a lot of sense, but narrow walk, shit, I'm a gamer, so I'm used to, like, a lava pit just being there for no reason, but interesting that the song was a little bit later then. I thought it had come out about the same time or just before. Interesting. I'll have to look into that. Yeah. Well, maybe it took me a while to see it too, because I was just a child at the mercy of my parents. So maybe I had the song in my head beforehand. That's interesting. Yeah, I'd like to go back and see that for myself. Not to say I don't believe you, but that just means I got some apologies to make out there. Telling some tall tales, not knowing it. All right, let's watch this. Let's watch a little bit of this game. Thank you to World of Long Plays. I did a bit of cutting this video. Well, it was a long play video, so... but that is to say, I did a little bit of... Just wanted to clip out a couple things out of this video to kind of give us the feel. course, it's going to start with Duel of Fates, you know? What better way to do it? All right, we're in. We're going to start a new file. Good to see you, Sid. Thanks for coming in. So, a fun little scene right here at this shop. As you walk in, you're going to come in and register your name. Maybe this is like where they register all the pod race stuff. You're going to go through and pick a character. Dud Bolt. Gazgan, though. Elon Mack. Also. Wow. Jeez.
Okie dokie.
Odie Mandrell.
What happened?
All right. So they're going to go to the first level first after a little vehicle inspection. This is the garage area I was talking about. I just loved this as a kid. I know that this isn't much, but like, you know, you had 25, I think, right? 25 different racers in this game. You know, to have this, like, it's cool that they gave you the 3D assets here and let you just spin around and play around with it, man. I don't know. It was good. It was some fun little world building. You could just chill on that screen too. All right. This is the practice version of the Great Bunta Eve race. It is basically like an inner track of the full thing that you will eventually do. After you beat the full thing, that is again like the race that is shown in the movie. Once you beat that race in this game, the full one, that's in the third tournament. Once you beat that, the credits roll, and then there's still a few races after that to go through, but kind of cool if they let the credits roll after you basically do the from the movie. I cut that down a whole lot just to sort of show you something real quick. In fact, I sort of missed my cue with that, but as we got towards the end here, notice how on the right side, that's the boost bar. You can continue, hit a boost, although it will make your engine start to overheat. And I think what they went for at the end was just going balls to the wall and trying to let their engine overheat or get close to it just so they could finish strong, you know. I turned the volume down just a bit. Sorry if it was too loud. That's just the first race of the game, and it's not the best example for like the extent, I don't know. It's like, come on, that's your first race of the first tournament. So not the best idea of how fast or difficult the game might get. So in just a bit, I'll show you one more. We're buying some pit droids. Gonna go buy some parts.
Take a look around. I got everything you need, huh?
If I remember correctly, you could buy parts from Watto that I think were like a little bit beat up, I want to say. You could also buy parts that were the real deal. That didn't already have a little wear and tear,
How do they find me, huh?
It doesn't, Fireball. Yeah, like in F-Zero. Doesn't matter if you power that thing all the way down, as long as you get it over the finish line. All right, we're going to race Elon Mack. So we are jumping forward into the game. I'm going to show you a short, tight race to kind of give you an example of what the game might look like on a level that has just a short one. Yeah, it's something different from Tatooine as well. There's a couple levels that are set on a populated worlds. A couple that are on there's a mining world. Pretty good diversity in levels, and you do return to the worlds. As you go through the game, you do come back to those worlds the course just might be longer. Like there's a lot of like, okay, you do a small part of it, and then you might see a feature and a section of that track later on, but it's much bigger that time. So they, you know, they might share like an area where the finish line is, and then yeah, it gets caught in my throat every time I'm about to say it, Fireball. All right. Again,
It's a new lap record.
there are some levels that are a lot more twisty and turny than this one. I also wanted to show this level because in a little bit, for once, this player has a little bit of competition. I think it'll come up soon. I can't tell you guys how hard it was to find clips of this game where the person playing wasn't just totally ripping ass and just like, you know, never looking back from first place. In this playthrough here, they're almost always leaving everybody else in their dust. So yeah, the boost, you can basically, I think, hold up on the control stick and A, and that gives you your boost, but again, you could overheat your engine. Right now, their top right part of their engine isn't looking so hot, but if they... I think you could hold R or L to heal up, but I think that slows you down a bit. I think that time they took maybe a different path, or not quite sure. In retrospect, this might have not even been a great level to show either, just because there are more like daytime exterior ones and ones that are, you get into some really like very F-Zero-esque, like you're almost in a cylinder that's turning, or a very narrow corridor, that kind of thing.
Come on, come on, come on, work!
So trying to get a little repair in right now.
It's working! It's working!
Did slow him down, huh? Almost done.
Yeah! I won!
Yeah, right, Fireball, and yeah, I get what you mean too, because it does require you to take that button off of or take that finger off of another button, and then, or rather, you know, you can't steer. That's it, right? And then that's a great point. Now, so maybe they make you pay a little bit for the boost. You know, pretty smart. Yeah, and it feels good when you're playing it too. I agree with you. Like, maybe it is a clever mechanic, you know. I bet I hated it as a kid. I remember getting pretty good at this game but it took a lot of time. And I did read some folks were saying it's one of those games that you might remember being harder. And now, with decades of honing those sweet gaming skills, if you came back to this game, you'd probably pick it up pretty quickly. And a lot of folks said most races, I didn't have any competition. You know? So, anyway. I never played the Dreamcast version, but I heard it's solid. Some said it had a better frame rate and resolution. Well, it did have a better resolution, I suppose, or output resolution. But yeah, it always looks solid. And alas, I did not have a Dreamcast. I had the 64 version. But this game has gotten around totally, though. There's also some versions that came out in 2020 for the Switch, PS4, and Xbox One. The video footage that I tried to find for you, though, I wanted to get some actual 64 footage, just because I think it has a nice scuzz to it that you don't get, sadly, with the with the versions where it's a little more higher res, or just it can just look so strange when some of those textures get too crisp and clear. I feel like a little analog fuzz. It helps. I don't know. It helps the medicine go down, man. But yeah. Anyway, like I said, whoops, that's a different game. You can find it in a few ways. So yeah. All right. Man, what do you guys think, huh?
Now this is pod racing.
We did it. We covered it. That's Star Wars Episode 1 Racer and Anakin in a T-pose. What a fantastic way to wrap this one. I love a good old T-pose, don't you? 25 years for this game. 25 years coming out on Saturday, man. Can't believe it. Well, happy birthday to you, Star Wars Episode 1 Racer. Again, this game, man, it was just part of a crazy media marketing blitz. I was a freshly minted Star Wars fan at that point, and it was all just blowing my mind. And this game was a great companion game, and I'm excited to see if I dig it, because I haven't played it since then. That's one of the titles I just haven't picked up since, you know, my 64 was getting, you know, was originally in its first run, baby. All right, guys. Oh man, I hope you like that. I had a good time putting that one together, but yep, that's it, right? That's gonna be it for good old days. Friday, May 17th, 2024. Happy birthday, Star Wars Episode 1 Racer.
It's working! It's working!
Oh crap.